Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us back here at Max Resource Corp's channel. We're sitting here once again with CEO, President, and Director Brett Matich. Brett, it's been a little bit, but today we're going to dive into the industry, and then we're going to dive into a really exciting update you guys put out. First off, how are you doing? Are you excited for the weekend?
I'm great. Actually, excited for Thanksgiving, but yeah, I'm ready to go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very glad to hear it. So first and foremost, let's dive into this article off of mining.com talking about BHP is to expand into tougher jurisdictions in search of battery metals, right? So now I don't think people understand why this is such a big deal for companies like Max Resource Corp, but can you connect the dots for people a little bit?
Well, in relation to clean energy, electric vehicles, the biggest single metal that's used is copper. For example, combustion vehicle to electric vehicle needs 3 to 4 times the amount of copper. You need copper for power grids, anything that's tied to infrastructure. Copper is always the number one. The problem that the majors have got, there is no large or mega copper deposits because they don't want little deposits everywhere. They want mega deposits. And here they talk about communication, or there's reported communication with Ivanhoe Mines. And Ivanhoe Mines, this was over the last decade or the last 2 decades, there's only been one major world-class deposit, and this is Ivanhoe Mines' world-class deposit. That's the issue. BHP reportedly are looking for the area around the mine. So it's not the mine, it's exploration area. And that's the thing is, they are similar companies are looking at early stage exploration that has the ability or the potential to turn into a large deposit because they can't find them anywhere. And these particular opportunities are in jurisdictions, or there's been some reason why there hasn't been exploration. And in relation to where we are in Colombia, there's only been the last few years that Colombian government are focusing on copper and opening up and encouraging investment. What they've done is they've gone lower tax for corporations, incorporating investment, and that's what given us the opportunity, not just for a junior exploration company, but the eyes coming on us. Wow, this area it hasn't been opened up before. If it had, it more than likely have already been exploited.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point there. It's an area that was previously closed to people, and now that it's finally on the map, you're going to see a lot of eyes and some very big companies looking at the area pretty intently because, as you said, right now copper's a hot commodity. We're trying to figure out how to meet these plans and how to make everything work as we're going into this new EV revolution.
Yeah. And you look at copper, for example. I mean, the last copper boom was back when I was in Australia. And we never thought there'd be another boom like that in my lifetime. The copper price there went up to 11,000 US a ton. But over here, it's the perfect storm. Now, the perfect storm meaning there is a shortage and has been a shortage of copper. And then when COVID came in, production closed down. And now with new restrictions for COVID and testing, what's happening there is it's hard for them to get back to the same production. And then with these giant infrastructure plans, there's so much copper needed. So like I said, it's coming to the perfect storm, and there's reports there. The copper price has already touched the height, which is $11,000 a ton. It's already touched there. And there's reports out there. There's JP Morgan are talking about the price going up another 50% to $15,000 a ton in 2020, 2022 or 2022. And the amount of copper that's going to be needed in the next 10 years, you're talking about production side, they don't know where it's going to come from.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's important to consider all the variables. Like you said, this is like a perfect storm, not only in relation to the increased demand, but due to the COVID, almost Kafka-esque regulations constantly changing. That's really hurting the progress of getting a lot of this put in place. Yeah. So we're approaching this point now where it's like something's going to give.
And it's simple economics. If you haven't got the supply and the demand's there, prices go up.
Yeah, very well said. So let's transition from here and talk about your guys' latest news release. Let's talk about you guys expanding the URU zone to 48 kilometers squared from 12 kilometers squared in your Caesar Northeast Columbia spot. So tell us what's been going on there. Give us just the highlights. Obviously, we implore people to go read the news release as well, but give us the overview.
So where we are, we've been there for 2 years. The URU Zone, we discovered that early this year. We've never been there before. So we've expanded this zone. This type of mineralization is very similar to what they have at Ivanhoe Mines.
Mhm.
The big thing about it is we've got so much exposure on surface. So Ivanhoe Mines, with their Kamoa discovery, it took them 15 years for the discovery hole. And the reason being that there was very little exposure at surface. I mean, it was the CEO there is Robert Friedland. He's very famous in relation to discoveries, Greenfield's discoveries that he's had. He's considered almost a genius. So what we get that advantage. So what we came is we identified 12 square kilometers, knowing that you can have a mining operation on as little as 2 square kilometers.
Yeah.
So 12 square kilometers, and then we kept expanding it. In the meantime, we doubled our exploration crew. So now we expanded to 48 square kilometers, which is huge.
Yeah.
It's also over topography. So it's all about volume. So you got this topography going up to 500 meters in height. That shows there's volume there. So the exploration model is we keep expanding, and what we want to find, we want to see where the outer limits are, and then we come in and do infill, then we drill. But the results that we've got is typically high grade, and for nearly 15%, 3 ounces at a ton, 15% copper, 3 ounces at a ton silver.
Yeah.
They're huge numbers, and we're consistently getting those numbers. In relevance to this, nowadays, anything that's up to 5% copper is considered exceptionally high grade.
Wow.
So and you're looking at average. So for example, if there's 15%, what you do is you widen the thickness and the grade comes down.
Mhm.
But we're looking at a number of areas that would be touching that 5%, which we've had assessments done by different groups. And once they're out in the ground, even though it's early stage, it's pretty compelling for what we're seeing there.
Yeah. And while it is early stage, this is really promising results. It's some promising first steps. And like you said, the fact that it's like near and at surface really changes the logistics of how the operations are played out over the course of time.
Yes, and it's just a common sense perspective.
Yeah.
Is if you're lucky enough to have it at surface, it's like the low-hanging fruit. You
Yeah.
go and you pick up as much at surface first, and that gives you your modeling or your targeting for drilling, and it makes it a lot more definitive. So we're lucky there. And this is one of 5 other areas. We're concentrating on this area now because we can see on this area there could be multiple deposits, if that's what the indicators are. So normally when a major has a joint venture, they would have a joint venture with what we call URU, which is the 48 square kilometers. They give you a joint venture on that. Whereas the advantage we've already got another 4 other target areas, and we think there's more. So we call it a copper belt, and there is no copper belt that hasn't been exploited that has this much of surface copper expression in the world that I know of.
Wow. Yeah, I'd say there's definitely a lot of promising potential here. And everybody, we'll keep you updated as more and more information comes in. We'll keep shooting these videos. And if there's any questions you guys have about this, don't be afraid to let us know, and we'll happily dive into it a little bit. But Brett, thank you so much for coming on today, talking about the industry. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, we have a full exploration cruise out there. We expect to have a number of news releases from now through to the end of the year. If you like to see any more information, look on our website, www.maxresource.com. And our ticker, we're listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange on the TSXV. Our ticker is MXR, and look forward to talking to you again next week.
Wonderful, Brett. Thank you so much for your time today. And again, thank you everyone for watching. We look forward to being with you guys on this journey. Brett.
Been a pleasure. Thank you.